Okay, page 2. Now we need to, if you look at the top, it says find the axis symmetry algebraically, then put into vertex form to determine the vertex. Okay, so axis symmetry we talked about is x equals negative b over 2a, which in this case is negative 8 over 2 times 2. Doing that math here, you get negative 2, so x equals negative 2. That's the axis of symmetry. Put into vertex form. So, vertex form, we follow the rules of completing the square, which means bring the c term over. Now, normally we want this to be just 1x squared, and this to be even. So, in order to do that here, we need to factor out a 2. So, when you take half the b term and square it, half the b term is 2, squared is 4. So, you're adding 4 here. But in reality, you're actually adding 2 times 4, which is 8. You need to add it to both sides. So, get back to this point. This is 4. You have to subtract 4, bring it back over. Your final answer is y equals 2 parentheses x plus 2 squared minus 4. That's in vertex form, which tells me the vertex is at negative 2 comma negative 4. Following the same rule here on this next one. It is in the proper form, so we have to bring the c term over to the other side algebraically by subtracting 10. Take half the b term, which is negative 10 squared, is add 100 here, add 100 here. That leaves x minus 10 squared. This portion is 90. You have to bring it over algebraically, subtract 90. You are now into vertex form. Okay, on this one here, it's saying what's the maximum height of the ball. Well, unless you need to show your work, this is a perfect opportunity to use a calculator. So you're going to plug into the calculator, y equals, on, y equals. In the y equals section, you're going to enter in the equation, which was, let's see if I can keep this still. Oh, there it is. It's right in there already for you. No, it isn't. Negative 8, negative 8x squared plus 8x plus 6. Again, as you zoom in on there, going to graph it. Well, we're going to specifically look at the table. So when you look at the table, you're going to notice 0 and 1 give you 6. That tells you by the duplication above that axis symmetry occurs within here, probably at a 0.5, so we change our table set. We want our table to start at 0, and we want it to go by 0.5s. Go back to table set. You'll find the vertex to occur at 0.5, comma 8. So, 0.5, comma 8 is the vertex, with 0 at 6 and 1 was at 6. So, the other way to do this and show it algebraically is find the axis of symmetry, which is negative b over 2 times the a value, which is negative 8, which tells me the axis of symmetry occurs at 1/2. Which, by the way, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Then you need to determine the height. Well, that requires you to take the equation and substitute in the 1/2 in for the t. Well, in this case, it's t representing time. 1/2 plus 6. If you do work out your math, it does come out to 8. So that's the height, h of t, occurs. So at how many seconds? Well, how many seconds when the parabola reaches its peak, its vertex, that's when the ball is at its maximum height. How many seconds before it touches the ground? And if you follow this through, it comes out to t is equal to 3/2, and 2 ways you could figure that out. 1, you can factor this, or 2, again, you can look at the table. All right, number 8. It says determine the type of roots. So here I would use my discriminant, and the discriminant states b squared minus 4ac. If it's greater than 0, it's 2 roots. If it's equal to 0, it's 1 root. And if it is less than 0, it is no roots. So you're going to substitute it in, negative 3 squared minus 4 times the a value times the c value, Work out your math, you get 9. That's 16 and 4 plus 32. Add those two together, that is 41. That is not a perfect square, so there's two roots, but they're not rational. Number 9, which interval notation represents a set of all numbers between 2 and 0? Inclusive, meaning it includes it. Well, these brackets, these bars, represents inclusive. So I need something that includes 2 through 7. Choice 4. Here, find the equation of the line that passes through those coordinates. A couple ways to do it. You can plug all these values into the calculator to figure out which one gives you those coordinates. Or you can determine this is the y-intercept. It's 3. 3, not negative 3, not 2, and not negative 2. Or you could also find the slope, which is y minus y over x minus x. So in this case, it would be 3 minus 0 over 0 minus 2, which gives me negative 3/2. Again, following the fact that it's going to be choice 1. Next one, jumbo popcorn. You want to create an equation. We'll say let x equal popcorn, y equal chocolate chips. They basically set up the equation for you. You put 1 jumbo popcorn plus 2 chocolate chip cookies, spend $5. Same movie. You bought 1 jumbo popcorn, 4 chocolate chip cookies, must have been hungry, and that came out to $6. So we'll use the elimination method here, and we'll get 1x plus 2y is equal to 5, and negative 1x minus 4y is equal to negative 6. Negative 2y is equal to negative 1. That means 1 cookie is negative 2 over negative 1, which is 50 cents. Let's read what the question wants. How much does 1 chocolate chip cookie cost? We are done. Chocolate chip cookie is 50 cents. All right. Set builder notation. So I want 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It looks like there's odd numbers from 1 to 9. 1 through 9 doesn't include those numbers which I need. 1 through 9, it does include prime numbers. Well, 9 is not prime. No good. Odd numbers, yes, but it doesn't include 1 and 9. Choice 4. Number 13 says, is the equation A equal to 21,000 parentheses 1 minus 0.12t a model of exponential growth or decay? Well, if this number is going to be smaller than 1, it's definitely decay. So growth out, growth out. And what is the rate of change per period of time? Well, it's changing 12% every time, decreasing. Axis of symmetry, number 14, x equals negative b over 2a, which is negative 3, I'll throw that in there, times 2 times 2, comes out to x equals positive 3/4. And you could check that in the calculator as well. Solve. 2x minus 8 is greater than, distributing. 5 times 3/5 is basically 3x. 5 times 1 is 5. You're going to solve here. Now notice, I'm probably making this a little more challenging because I'm moving a negative for my x. And that's important because, let's bring that up here. Negative 1x is greater than 13. When you divide by a negative, the inequality switches directions. And there you go. Now, what's the largest value that satisfies the inequality? Quite often, kids write negative 13, but the largest value, which is less than negative 13, is negative 14. Page 2, done.